Hi, I'm Crystal Ketchum with Explore Atlanta, and on this week of Explore Atlanta, we are exploring CheeseCaked in Buckhead. Now, if you want a place to go for date night or a family day out, CheeseCaked is the perfect place to go. This week, we're exploring CheeseCaked with Vedo, the singer. So let's go see what Vedo thinks about the food. Hey, Vedo, how are you?
Doing? I'm awesome. How you doing?
So tell us, what are you eating?
Well, I'm actually eating my favorite red velvet cheesecake. I've always loved red velvet since I was a kid, so I was actually walking past this joint and I was like, yo, let me check it out. And they had red velvet cheesecake, so I was like, gotta get a piece.
So as a kid, was red velvet your favorite?
Yeah. Red velvet and chocolate was my favorite. Red velvet and chocolate. My mom used to always hide like the chocolate and red velvet from me because if I find it, I'm gonna get in and I'm eating it all. So yeah, that was my favorite as a child.
Okay, so besides cheesecakes, where else do you go for sweets? Everybody's a sweet person.
Yeah, actually my favorite candy probably gotta be Airheads. I love Airheads. It might be weird, but you know, I love Airheads. It's over anything like Starburst or whatever. Like I love Airheads. Where else do I go? I actually go to the Cheesecake Factory. They got some nice cheesecake, you know, over there as well. But that's about it. I try not to eat too many sweets though, cause I gotta keep my figure right. You know what I mean? You gotta keep my figure right. Yeah, so that's pretty much that.
So I'm a fan, and I heard your album From Now On. Tell us about that.
Oh man, From Now On is one of those albums where I kind of like, I was just vulnerable and I said what I wanted to say without caring about what somebody would think about it. You know, like there's a lot of artists, male artists, they don't want to seem too sappy or too sensitive to a certain subject. And with me, I just said what I felt. I was just, you know what I'm saying, like this an open book. Like this is how I feel about, you know, somebody that I'm dealing with or somebody that I would be dealing with or just women in general. Like, because I think with this album I wanted to, because to me, it was the year of the woman when I released that album. It was like, black girl. No, it didn't. No, really it was. It was like the black girl power thing was really moving. And I think that it was a situation where I just wanted to say what I wanted to say instead of just, hey, girl, let's go to the club, let's turn up, let me love you right. I wanted to just kind of like commend the woman and let her know that I see how she's doing. I see her working hard, and I commend her for that. And a lot of women don't really get to don't really hear that.
So how does the title From Now On play into the concept of the album?
From now on, this is what you'll get from me. This is how you will feel when you listen to me. From now on, you will feel loved, you will feel uplifted. And at the same time, you will feel sexy. You will feel, you know what I'm saying? You will feel like you will be put in that mood. You will be put in, just we grown. You will be put in a sexual mood with some of the songs. So from now on, this is what you're getting from me, and not all that music that other people they do music because they think people want to hear this from them. I'm doing music because this is the music I want to do. So it's almost like if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't.
You don't. Okay, so I noticed you only had one feature on this entire album. Why? Not that that's a bad thing at all.
Yeah, I think this one of these projects really was a standalone project. It was like, it was so good once we got back to the drawing board and was like, yo, I don't want to mess up the vibe of any of these records with putting anybody on it. Not to say that anybody wasn't worthy of it. I just was like, nah, I'm gonna just let this ride out by itself. And it debuted at number 8 on iTunes. Did its thing, man. Did really well for an independent project. And like I said, the one feature that was on there was featuring my homegirl Natasha Mosley, which was a re-release of a song of mine that took off, like blew up. So it was only right, man. I felt like that record still had life in it, and we wanted to re-release it to a new set of fans.
So I have to ask, who'd you let actually hear this album before you released it for their critique? Did you let your mentor hear it?
Yeah, I let him hear it. Yeah, I let Usher hear it.
What did he say?
He was like, yo, Vedo, everybody that I heard that I let play this album, they are really, really honest to me. And every last one of them was like, yo, man, like this is a really solid R&B album, man. Like every song is equally strong, and you have some on here that's like out of here, like Add to You, Slow. You got records like On My Way. You got records like Real One. Like, but nobody that I played it for, Troy Taylor, Delonte Murphy, VP of A&R over at Atlantic Records, Chris Jones. These are people that I look up to for advice and things like that. And everybody was like, yo, this is really a solid album, man. Like a solid R&B album. We haven't heard any R&B album like this in a long time.
Now, dating back to your days from The Voice, what's your relationship like with Usher? How often do you guys talk?
Yeah, we talk. We actually talk. I say once a week, once every 2 weeks, depending on his schedule and my schedule as well. Like my schedule is really becoming hectic now. Like I fly to New York tomorrow, like so, and it was just out of the blue. So I think that we talk when it's needed. When we need to talk to each other. Like, hey, I may see something that he's going through or whatever, because he go through a lot of controversy these past, this last year. So like, or something he may see I'm going through, like, for example, like my mom's birthday might pass, or the day she passed away might have just passed. So call and check on me and things like that. So yeah, I think we talk when it's needed. It's not when it's one of those, yo, bro, because it's like he's still like a big brother.
What's the best advice he's given you thus far in your career?
Just trust yourself. That was the main thing, and that plays into just trusting your creativity, like meaning do what your heart tells you to do. Like if you want to make songs about nothing, if you want to make songs completely about just girl I love you, make them songs about every last song need to be saying I love you, if that's what your heart is telling you to do. And that just plays into trusting yourself. Even when I'm on stage, I used to have this thing in my head where it may be a big note that I've hit before. I know I can hit the note, but for some reason I psych myself out in my head, and I be like, I hope I can hit this note. And every time I do it, every time I psych myself out, I end up kind of missing a note or not executing it well enough. But when I got to a place where I was like, you've already done this note, you can do it, just do it.
So you still get nervous before shows and things like that?
Yeah, man, I get nervous, yes.
But you've been doing this for so long.
Yeah, I think everybody get nervous, man. Usher gets nervous, Chris Brown gets nervous, Michael Jackson he said he got nervous. What it is you get butterflies, and I think when you get nervous about something, it's because you really care about it and you want to do well. You know what I mean? I think that's where the butterflies come from with me, because I get on stage and I want to captivate people. I want to be captivating, and I want to touch people with the way that I sing or my lyrics. And yeah, like you get nervous but after like I say like 30 seconds into the performance, we good money now.
Exactly.
Yeah, we good money now. Exactly. Yeah.
Now speaking of Chris Brown, word on the street is that you write for Chris Brown.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I write for him. I actually wrote one song on this album completely by myself. The other one was a co-wrote. The first one was called Other Niggas. I don't know if we can say that on here. But the other one was called Everybody Knows, which I co-wrote on that one. And the recent one I just did was a single on Lil Dicky featuring Chris Brown called Freaky Friday, which was debuted at number 8 on Billboard, and it hit number 1 on the R&B hip hop charts on Billboard.
Now it has over 100 million views on YouTube. How did you write that song? Like, how did that come about? Did they reach out to you? How did that come about?
Well, actually, like I said, I have a publishing deal with Downtown Music Publishing, and one of my reps, man, was like, he was actually in a meeting with Lil Dicky, and was like, yo, and Lil Dicky was just kind of like talking about this idea that he had. He wanted to do this, but he needed somebody who could kind of convey what he was trying to put on paper, and like make it make sense for Chris Brown, and somebody that has already worked for Chris Brown, has already worked with him, somebody that can sound like him. And my guy was like, yo, I got a guy named Vedo. I think he's the guy for it, ma'am. And Lil Dicky called me. He called me the day after and was like, hey man, I got word from such and such, your boy Dom. He said that you the man for the job, man. I want to send you the record, man. I want to give you a shot at it. And he sent me the record. I did everything, recorded it, sent it back. He loved it.
You did the entire verse then on?
Yeah, we co-wrote it together. See, he had the idea. What I did was I went in and I wrote lyrics to it to make it make sense. And he already had some of the stuff down, but I had to make it make sense. I had to do all the backgrounds. I had to make the transitions what the transitions were. I did ad libs. I did everything.
So after the song, or after Chris heard it, what did he say to you?
Well, I hadn't talked to Chris. I talked to Lil Dicky, but
after you heard it, he didn't reach out.
But after the song came out, Chris Brown was like, "Yo, it's grind time. It's winning season. It's time to win." So, like, mind you, like they kept almost all my backgrounds in the song. Like I got some ad libs that's still in the song. So
good.
So it's pretty cool to be able to work with, alongside people like Benny Blanco was on the record. He's huge. If you don't know who he is, check him out. Benny Blanco, Cashmere Cat, DJ Mustard, Twice as Nice. All these big name producers, man, and myself coming up in the game right alongside all of them. So that's great. That's a great feeling.
Now we already know Chris Brown is great, but is anybody else you want to write for?
Anybody else?
Let me just say this. I think you should write for Jodeci.
You think so?
When they do they comeback, why not?
Okay. Yeah, Jodeci's definitely, man. It was and is still an inspiration. Yeah, it's still an inspiration for me right now because I'm an R&B head. And I think that if the opportunity presents itself, yeah, well, I'm gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna do that.
Who else?
Let me see, man.
Chris Brown.
Yeah, Chris. Look, like I said, Lil Dick. I'm got crazy records overseas too. Like I wrote over in Korea and Japan for artists. But I'm working on like I said, Usher's my mentor, but he's not one of those guys that say, hey, because I'm your mentor, I'm gonna let you write a song on my album. I have to prove myself. Like, hey, I have to, and that's the way it should be. Like, yo, send me some great records.
And then we'll see.
And then we can talk. I can put you on, because one thing about Usher, man, you got Confessions, like probably the best R&B album in the history of R&B. Over 35 million albums sold. It's not gonna happen anymore with anybody. Not in R&B. But yeah, so him, I definitely want to write for Beyonce. Definitely want to pen for Beyonce, Rihanna.
But what's your process in writing for other people? Do you have to hear their voice in your head, or how does that work for you?
Well, I had a couple ways that I did it. I used to try to sound like them. I used to go listen to them and study their vocals. Like, yo, study the little things that Chris does, or study what Beyonce does, or study what Usher does. And I've learned that doesn't win, because when you try to do it, because when you try to put too much emphasis and focus on being them, you overshoot it. So the main focus is to create a good song. Doesn't matter who gonna sing it. Create a good song at the end of the day. If the product is good, it's gonna sell. So that's the process of it. But with that, it's been hard for me because I'm an artist, and I'm like, man, I don't want to give away this dope song because I wrote it. I want to put it out on myself. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, man, I had to get up out of that realm of just, yo, I don't want to get a song away, because
it seems like you're kind of taking the neo route. Do you ever feel like this is overshadowing you as an artist, though, keeping writing for other people? At one point, do you want to stop?
No, I don't think it is, because of the way social media is today. Because you think about it, every person that I work with or write with, it puts a light on me as well. Back when Neo was really doing this thing crazy, nobody really knew that Neo had wrote this song, because it wasn't a Twitter, it wasn't an Instagram, or a Facebook for that matter. Like Facebook, maybe I think had just started with 2004, 2005. But these writers behind the scenes and things like that, they had to really build an organic name for themselves. Even though they wrote for all these big names, but now with social media, I get on Instagram and put a post up and say, yo, just a song just came out on Beyonce that I wrote. Bam, I'm instantly through the roof. So no, I don't think it puts a burden on me as an artist. I honestly think it adds to my artistry and adds to me. So with that being said, no, I'll forever write songs for other people.
Do you feel like you wrote your Grammy hit yet? Or are you on the verge of writing that?
Have I wrote my Grammy hit yet? Yeah, I think I have.
What is it? Is it out?
I think every song that has released, like I think the Lil Dicky record, I think the Lil Dicky and Chris Brown record could possibly be up for a nomination or an actual win. Like it's such a great song. It's well written. The concept was unheard of. Like the video was super dope. Like even Chris Brown's album, 45 songs. Like come on, man. Like that deserves a Grammy in itself for the most songs on the album. I mean, yeah. So
I will say this: don't you think there's such thing as too much music at once? 45 songs, that's a lot for anybody to take in.
I absolutely don't think so. I think that what it is because you got to understand, like we are creators, and what we do is we kind of limit ourselves, because we say, yo, I got 45 songs, but I'm only gonna give them 12 songs.
It gives us time to consume it, though.
No, because I look at it this way: you write 45 songs. All right, you let the other 20 songs, whatever that is, 25 songs, 30 songs sit up. After so long, these songs become dated. It becomes a sound that used to be hot. You know what I'm saying? Now you got records that sound like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Instead of just, hey, bam, whole 45 I'm gonna throw at you. I'm working on another 22 songs right now. And I think what it is, and it's different with streaming now, because the more songs you put on your album, the quicker you go gold.
That's true.
So if you got 1 million streams per song, that's 45 million streams. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay.
So
in that sense, yeah.
Yeah, so everything is it's math. You got to play it like everything is strategic. So you have to. That's why I understand why he did it. My next album gonna probably be up there. Like it's not gonna be no 45 songs, but
When can we expect your next album?
well,
And who's gonna be on this?
well, you know, man.
Jacquees, hint, hint. Like,
You know, nah, man, Quee, that's the homie, man. I've been knowing Jacquees for years now. Like, yeah, we did a record I do like maybe like 7 years ago. It just kind of like happened. So it was just like, yo, let's work. Came in the studio, knocked it out, put it out. Fans loved it. But I think this next one gonna be coming out a few months. I'm working on it now. Working on some big things, man. Partnering my label with some major labels, so that way I can start signing artists, giving them the backing that they need and the platform that they need that I have now.
at only 25.
Yeah, 25.
At only 25.
You know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to do that.
5 years from now, where can we see Vedo? Where do you want to be?
Oh man, well you know, 5 years from now I'm gonna have me some Grammys. You know, I'm gonna have me some Grammys. I'm gonna be set. My family's gonna be set, and by then I'll be working on just building an empire. Like just continuing building an empire. I think I'm gonna be in 5 years, man. I'm trying to have something on pretty much everybody in the industry in 5 years. 5 years. So yeah.
So all this talk about music and artists, we got to get back to the food.
Okay.
So overall, did you enjoy your food at Cheesecake?
I loved it. I loved it, man. Honestly, this is probably the best red velvet cheesecake I've had. I definitely, no flex. I wouldn't even lie. I'm not lying. So I'll be honest. I'm an honest person. So, but no, this is probably the best cheesecake I've had. So I'm gonna wrap it up. Finish a little more here, but I'm taking it home and, like you say, middle of the night, wake up with a craving, and hit the rest of it.
So there you have it. Cheesecake is Explore Atlanta approved. So you guys should definitely check out CheeseCaked and Buckhead.
True.